Today marks a very historic day in my view, small but nonetheless very important when we step out to launch the National Gold Bullion Policy. This policy complements our government's vision for us to fully industrialize the economy in as much as possible, adding value to the economy by going into the space of downstream processing in all sectors: forestry, fisheries, agriculture, oil and gas, minerals, including gold. And today's launch of National Gold Bullion Policy is a step in the right direction. In fact, a big step, a big step. We're taking in a premier commodity, if not the leading commodity as far as world of commerce, trade, and as far as the economy is concerned. The absence of a policy, we've had this sector operating according to their own will and way, and that has been so for many years. In fact, our nation has been a gold producing nation since the early 1900s. For the record, most of you would know that Bulolo and Wau area was an area on planet Earth that had most planes flying in and out in the 1920s. That was because there were sets of gold. Gold has been found, explored and found, and harvested, and of course been ferried or shipped or flown out of our country for many years up to today. Contracted gold and those that are not contracted gold. And so having a policy that embraces the way in which we harvest our gold, the way in which we process our gold, the way in which we transport our gold, the way in which we account for our gold is very important. And we hope that this policy encapsulates everything from the issuance of exploration license to the process of discovery, to the process of harvesting, and to the process of refining, and to the process of processing it for storage or export. We hope that this policy, all in all, embraces the entire length and breadth of how we do gold business in our country. And as a nation that is known for production of gold in our country, it is really timely and incumbent upon any responsible generation of Papua New Guineans to cultivate or promulgate rather this policy. And I am totally pleased that I stand here in 2023, better late than never, to start to have higher standard of accountability in this premier industry to ensure that all stakeholders, without harming and hurting those who are investing in this sector, they too must make a return on the investment. But the country, especially those who toil at the lower echelon of production, if they are harvesting from alluvial, they too must have a residual bigger stake. Or the landowners, they too must have a residual fair take. Or the country too must be better advanced and developed. And we do not envisage a transfer of GDP growth to a country outside of our country. The resources that we generate from within must be able to assist in the expansion of our economy, and the conversation on downstream processing comes in that space, that we want to add value to all our resources, creating additional jobs, securing the economic affluence of our country. All in this context, we have been working, and I just want to place on record my appreciation to commerce and industry. You never waited, you said this is a task before us. You embraced the work, you went to work with the policy. And today we are launching a policy that should not frighten anyone. I repeat, this policy should not frighten anyone, but also everyone. It is a policy that is here to add value to those of you who are engaged in the business of gold, that it adds value to you, ensures you have savings, ensure that you have a higher return on investment, including Papua New Guinea also having a higher return the gold harvested in her land, her waters and territory. So it is in this regard that I'm happy to be here. Hopefully this policy also embraces that our standard of gold processing to gold bullion from a refinery is advanced beyond just a basic small refinery stage to a fully fledged refinery, subscribing to London Bullion Market Association standards, for instance, subscribing to global standards, so that those who are in the large-scale harvest, our serious foreign investors, our partners in this business, also have the confidence that this policy will lead towards developing a stronger, robust gold processing business in our country and the gold storage business in our country, and adds value to their own export or their own financial generation, and doesn't lessen their business profitability because they're not operating as a charity. They too are here at work to maximize return for their shareholders. So I just want to give an assurance to all who are in this space: fear not in this policy. We are not illiterates running government or discussing policy for our country. We know US investors that at a small alluvial investment level, or at a mid-sized investment level, or at the upside, large-scale investors. We know you need to make a return on investment. We know you will make a profit. You must make profit to reinvest back in the economy. This policy is here to assist you optimize profit, maximize profit, and the residual spin-off businesses optimized in the country in which you are harvesting the resources from. So it is with this good place in our heart that Papua New Guineans of my generation, not just me, I may come and go, but this is contemporary conversation. Papua New Guineans want to optimize the economic gain of all resource harvest, not just the kina, but the spin-off, the job creation, the industry expansion, the manufacturing, and the spin-off businesses. This is what we're talking about. And gold being the number one resource, not just in Papua New Guinea, but elsewhere, that underpins most economy, is a serious conversation we've embarked upon. And I want to encourage all in this business. You need not fear. Jump on board with Commerce and Industry. Jump on board with the Department of Mining and Geohazard. Jump on board with MRA, and jump on board with Papua New Guinea as we work to ensure this resource, and especially gold, is harvested for the better in our country. I look forward to the full delivery and implementation of this policy, and I just want to advise all. Only 10 commandments we don't change. 10 commandments is written on stone and is fixed. But government policies are adjustable going forward. So long as, for me, the adjustments taking place promotes my country's economic progress, but at the same time secure all investors' ability to make a return on investment, I don't mind new suggestions. I would be minding that you make more and Papua might make less. But if it is a fair benchmark that we reach, just like the Pokhara benchmark, where we are on the side of 51 and the investor is on the side of 49, it's a fair basis where PNG is placed to gain more from this sort of benchmark, then it is a win-win for all of us. Don't fear this policy. This comprehensive policy is put in such a way to ensure that we protect the industry. As we speak, those of you in the industry proper, you subscribe to the MDC and the agreements that we have in place. So you may be right. But we have, too, a lot of illegal miners. Gold's going out in briefcase. Gold's unaccounted for gold going out, where the poor alluvial miners are toiling back home in Middle Rama, in Waugulolo, elsewhere in the far corners in Ijibitari. But the middleman makes the cream, and the guys at the end makes the cake, and my Papua New Guineans pick the leftovers and the crumbs. And so we want to change that. We want to account for every gold that is produced in our country. We want to account for it. And in the earliest instance, process in our own refinery, put a stamp, and you can take it on to your export. If not, we keep some to stabilize the economy as far as our gold resale is concerned in our country. It's a long-range focus, but we will not do all of them all in one go. The policy spells out the step to get there in a long-range focus of our country, to have gold reserves, gold bullion, gold refinery, and in the first instance, accounting for every gold that is harvested in our country. And if you think we're just talking, let me inform you all. In 2020, we made a little amendment in the Mining Act to account for every gold that is harvested in the large-scale mining companies. So the large-scale mining companies have accountability stepped up. We now have, for instance, in an amendment that the mining department did, we now, based on this small amendment, we now have their production room and MRA with a live data exchange. We know exactly every gold that Lihir is producing, every gold that Octal is producing, every gold that other mining companies in our country produce. We have access to live data. This is a small step in the right direction. Before my time, none of us were able to know exactly how much was being produced going out, except the declarations that they were making. This all is step towards a path where we account for all resources harvested in our country. And to our investors, I remind you again, need not to fear. If we account for every resource that you are harvesting, you never know, we can drop the tax, so you pay a lesser tax. Right now, because we don't account for everything that is harvested, those of you in the mining sector proper, or the sector proper, you are carrying the load, and many are running rampant in the illegal sectors in our country below scrutiny. This one hopes to bring to total scrutiny the gold that is harvested in our country to be processed and exported in an accountable manner going forward. I congratulate all who had a hand in putting this policy together. Let's look into it, let's make it work for the benefit of investors, for the benefit of all of us, but more importantly, for the benefit of the economy our children will live on as they mature. Thank you very much. God bless each and everyone.